In my last video, we talked about automating the web.
We cache the heart, we cache the arrow, and then we say, hey, if there is a heart, then we want to click the heart, then we want to add one to our account, and then we want to cancel out you've liked so many photos, and then we want to click the arrow.
In this video, I'm going to show you how to move all of that logic inside of a Chrome extension. That way you don't have to keep running it inside of your console. These things are actually super fun to make. The first thing that you're going to want to do is probably download a boilerplate. I use this website called extensionizer.com. Or you can just Google Chrome extension boilerplate. And the first one that comes up is Extensionizer. Now there's a few different types of extensions. There's hidden extensions, page actions, and browser actions. So if you hover your mouse over top of the extension types, you can read more about it in the tooltip. But for a quick overview, a hidden extension doesn't have an icon. It will just inject scripts into the pages. A page action puts an icon inside the address bar, and a browser action creates an icon up here. And if you notice when you click one of these, a little page pops down. That's actually what we're going to be putting together today, is a browser action. Now the only other options that I care about are these content scripts. I want to inject some JavaScript and maybe even some CSS. And then I have to give it permissions. These permissions will give your extensions access to different hosts. So if you want it to be accessible on every page, you can do and then */*. So on any domain, on any page. You can do google.com /*. So any page on Google. Here's some other permissions you can grant your extension. You can allow it to manage your bookmarks, copy and paste things from your clipboard, access your cookies, send you notifications, and view your location, stuff like that. For this one, we need to give it access to the tabs. Then all there's left to do is push download. It will download this into a zip file. Then all you have to do is unzip it and open it up with your editor. The first file that you're going to see is this manifest.json. This has all the information about your extension. Its name, its version, description, the icons that it uses, and all the permissions it has. Let's rename this Instabot. Automagically likes posts. Then if you look down here in the content scripts, you'll see that it's injecting the CSS into Google. And it's also injecting this JavaScript into Google. I need to open up my extensions. Now you'll notice this switch up here in the top right-hand corner, developer mode. You can toggle that off and on. If you have it on, then you can choose load unpacked. And our extension is in my downloads extension. And then once you're inside the directory, you just choose select. And you see our extension right here, Instabot 0.01. And you'll also see it up here in the top right-hand corner. So if I go to Google now, and I open up my console, you'll see this message here, hello. This message was sent from scripts inject.js. And if I check out the source of my extension, source inject, inject.js, you'll see that message right here.
What? Imagine the things you could do with this if you knew what to do with this.
So the content scripts in the manifest JSON inject scripts into specific URLs. You'll also notice that it's injecting the CSS. So let's say I change the body to blue. Body, background color, blue. And I'll just make that change in here. Body, background color, blue. Save that. Now you would think that since my code is saved, that if I refresh this, that those updates would automatically be added and you'd see it on this page. But when you make updates in your code, don't forget to go back to your extensions page and click this reload button right here. It's also saying that we have some errors. Can't read property show of undefined in the background. Let's see. Yeah, we actually don't need this. Clear these errors. Go back, refresh it. There we go. Now if we go back to Google and we refresh, you'll see that it injected this style, but it's being overwritten. Maybe if we put an important next to it. Important. Reload the extension. Let's try this again. There we go. Now we have a Chrome extension that turns Google blue. Let's try something else as well. So let's change the text in this button. We'll inspect it. Copy the selector. Let's do document.query selector. And we can cache the element. We can say element.value equals my search. And now we can copy that out and put it inside of our injected JavaScript file. Save it, reload it, and let's refresh this. Voila. Google is now blue and its button says my search. You get the idea that this is pretty much limitless.
I was blind, but now I see. A tablet a day, and I was limitless. I now had cultural appetites.
Since when do you speak Italian?
I finished my book in 4 days.
I'd like to renegotiate my advance.
Math became useful.
If you want to automate something on a website, or if you just want to change the way it looks, this will give you total freedom to do that. Not only for specific websites, but you can also come up with tools that might be able to help you all across the web. So let's put Google back to normal. Let's start to focus on this now. That's going to be in your browser action directory. And here you'll find the browser action HTML file. Let's get rid of all of this. Create a new HTML page. Don't need all of that. Cool. We could probably actually make this a little bit smaller. Maybe like 200 height, 400 width. Let's add a script down here, and we'll call it automate. And I found this code on Stack Overflow that's supposed to open a URL in a new tab. We'll just open up Google. I don't need all of this. I just need this. Refuse to execute inline script. Let's try putting this in an app.js. We'll move this code to inside there. And we'll just include it. See if that works. Still an error. Let's see. Actually, no errors. What the heck's going on? Let's clear these. Retry this. Okay, we can't have inline event handlers. We're both learning some things here. So we'll just give this form an ID, and then we'll grab that form. Automate form on submit. Hey, there we go. So you can kind of understand the way that you would debug your extension. You get error messages displayed around here. You also have the option to open a console. Okay, let's keep going. So let's give this input an ID as well. Hashtag. And then inside of our app, we'll get that value. We'll make a variable called hashtag. Hashtag equals and then we'll just replace this URL with some backticks. We'll point it to Instagram, and we'll add explore tags, and then the hashtag the user supplied. Awesome, we're getting there. Next, we need to start our automation process, but we don't necessarily want to start liking every photo on every feed. So we should add a hash to the URL, and I'll explain that more later on in the video why we're doing that. So I'm just going to add /hashtag, maybe the word automate. I'm going to close everything out just to kind of start at a clean slate again. I'm going to open up the manifest because I have to redirect those scripts. So I don't think I'm actually going to inject any styles. So I'll remove this. But the JavaScript that I want to inject that into Instagram, not Google. Instagram. And then /explore /tags. And then any tag. And then inside of our injected file, let's just console out window.location.hash. and you'll see the hash that we put in there earlier. So the reason that I want that hash in the URL is because say you're just on here looking at the programming page and you're not using the extension, then I don't want this automation process to start. I only want this automation process to run when you've clicked on the extension and you've submitted this form. And the way that I'm going to do that is by adding this hash to the end. And then inside my injected JavaScript file, I'm going to say if the window.location hash is equal to hashtag automate, so it's automating because the hash is in the URL. But if I remove this hash, then it doesn't run. And then you guys pretty much know how the rest of this goes. We need to click on this first photo. So let's click that first anchor tag. Click. And that opens up the first picture. Let's see if this works in our extension. Cool. So I think I'm looking for this.
Any attempts to see everything in clear fail. The names of classes, methods, and attributes have all been renamed into unintelligible characters.
Look, it's giving me that one up there at the top. That's not the one I want. So I'm going to do query selector all. And it gives me two of them, so I expect the second one to be the one in this post. And it is.
Most apps nowadays are not properly protected, and attackers can easily analyze the application logic to find the vulnerable points. In this video, we will see an example of how to protect an app against reverse engineering using code obfuscation techniques.
And it's not the span that I want to click. This span is actually inside of a button, and it's the button that I want to click. So I can do parent node. And then that gives us the button. Then I can click on that. So let's take that to here. For every 3 seconds. We'll get the heart. If there is the heart, then we want to continue clicking the heart. If not, then we just want to click the next arrow, which is cool. There's only one of those. And we want to click that no matter what. So there's two of these. There's this heart up here and there's this heart down here. If we click on this, what's our node list look like? We only have one. but we have 2 when the heart hasn't been clicked yet. So what we really need to ask is if the heart dot length is equal to 2, and we'll make that a let. So if the heart length is 2, then heart needs to equal the second heart in that array. And then we need to click that heart. Okay, let's see if this works. No guarantees. This is our first time running it. It doesn't seem like there's any errors. Let's see if it's actually liking the photos. Yeah, it's actually liking the photos. And you can see that I'm not pressing anything anymore, but this is still running because that interval was never cleared. We probably need to attach it to something. So maybe this close button up here. We want to clear the interval of the automation. And now if we open another one of these, it shouldn't keep going to the next picture. Awesome, that terminated that interval. So this gives you an idea of how to start packaging your functionality. You might do something every day that's very unique to your business on the computer, which you could do more efficiently or even automate just by writing a quick Chrome extension. So in this instance, Instagram marketing. In some companies, it's someone's job to go through Instagram, like content, comment on it, which is great for real interactions, but could also be majorly improved by 15 lines of JavaScript. And this is super simple. This code came with the boilerplate. Really, you just inject your script in the middle of it. There's a ton of things that you could do for this. You could even just add popular hashtags that you like and have it where you could just come in here and click on them. Chrome extensions actually have memory and storage. If you just Google Chrome extension storage, this allows you to read and write data in your extension in JSON format. So instead of popular, you could have hashtags that you've used. So mine would have programming down here. And then every time it likes a picture, you could have it increment a number. That way you could have a readout of all of the hashtags and how many photos you've liked of each one of them. Really, the possibilities are endless. You can keep going with this. And I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with. It's funny, I was watching this video with Larry Page. And they shot this video about this guy who is having problems with his plants.
Checked out the books and they didn't tell me much. So I did the search. One of the websites told me that ants could be the problem. It said sprinkle wood ash over the plants. Then after a few days, the ants disappeared. I got excited about the internet.
And then he goes on to tell a story about his friend who because of the internet ended up making a windmill. And now because of this access to information, it's helping people come up with solutions to problems. And I find it really inspiring when I go through my videos and I read your guys' comments and people tell me how it's helped them understand programming in a different way, or it's helped them come up with an answer to a problem they've been having, or people tell me it's inspired them to start learning to code. Anyway, Chrome extensions are awesome. They're super easy to make and get into, and once you've developed one, you can actually go to Chrome's developer dashboard and you can upload them there for other people to use. So here you can see I have YouTube ad skipper. I made that one a couple years ago. It's literally like 3 lines of JavaScript. It's an interval that keeps checking for the skip button, and if the skip button exists, then it pushes it. There's 3,400 users. People have left some awesome reviews. God's gift. It's so amazing that you can write something, put it on the internet, and it can impact so many people. Here's another one that I made called email links. I actually built this for a newsroom. So say we go to Stack Overflow, and maybe we're writing a newsletter, and it's a programming newsletter. So maybe we'll have some sections. We'll have a JavaScript section and a PHP section. Now we can open up an article and we can add that article to a section. Then once we have all the articles that we want, we can just push send and put all of that information inside of an email. Anyway, those are just a couple examples. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments. I'll put all the links to the things that I've used in the description. Make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. And if you're interested in learning more code or having a one-on-one lesson, feel free to drop me an email at jdallencook@gmail.com, and then I can add you to our Slack group. I have a company that I do all my freelancing through called OnFlow. And I have a Slack group for OnFlow where I teach developers and give new developers the opportunity to work on projects with me. So if you're interested in that, make sure to drop me an email. Otherwise, I'll catch you in the next video.